guys, it's Ahmer here, and who remembers back in the day when console exclusives were such a big deal? Now, the original Xbox had so many fantastic games, and these games I would love to come back in today's time. With all of these remakes, remasters, we need some of these revivals of these amazing series. So today we're going to talk about my top 10 on the original Xbox. So we'll jump into it. Who remembers this squirrel? This game came out on the Nintendo 64, but we got Conker Live and Reloaded. Now this was such a fun time bringing back this entire squirrel, bringing back all of these shenanigans from the N64 era, but go ahead and remaking it on the original Xbox. I would love to have Conker back in today's time, but back on the original Xbox, I had so much fun playing this game. I remember my brother playing this one quite a bit. So this is like the N64 remake, so it is very closely similar to the N64 version, but they did cut out some of the hard parts. Like, I remember one of the parts, there was like this whole, you're in the water and you're being chased, there's like this eel, so that part was actually cut out. But Conker is just obnoxious and just a crazy squirrel. Just so many crazy things about this game, and the whole marketing that they did at the time was really cool too. So this is like a single player option as you're working your way through, but they also had a multiplayer, and this was so much fun. Playing 8 versus 8, deathmatch style, definitely more fun with more people. Now it does have some drawbacks with some of the controls, or these objective based missions. I just kind of had such a blast playing with a lot of people back then, especially, just having the joy of playing this crazy squirrel. But you have this platformer, puzzle solver, kart racing, combat, shooting, all in one. Just funny and wacky character that really holds up and stands the test of time. And I love how this looked great on the original Xbox. You had all of these polished graphics along with it. So this was so much fun. But this game would have to be one that I would love to come back on the, newest systems in today's time. We just need Conker to come back. Where has Conker the Squirrel been? And then next up, this is one that I know they've talked about it, but until I see it, I won't believe it. We have Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. This was such a fantastic game on the original Xbox. Many people didn't even realize that they had this too, because most people played on the Sega Dreamcast. At least that's where I played Crazy Taxi 1 and 2. I love the soundtrack. It's most known for The Offspring, that pumped up, get you in the mood. But this one offered the same music from The Offspring, but they did have new music tracks. And this one, I just can't wait until they have the newest one, but I'm going to go ahead and include it because this was the best way. You had both games, you had this one, you get to pretty much drive around, pick up your passengers, and this one's based in Las Vegas, so it has a lot going on. They definitely cleaned up the characters, and I just absolutely had a blast playing this. It's just a classic game that I really enjoy playing whenever I see it in the arcades. Just that sit-down racing. They even have a stand-up model for the arcade machines. But this one right here is definitely a fun one that you guys have to at least play. This game right here, we have Jet Set Radio Future. And this was a fantastic game as well that I loved playing on the Sega Dreamcast back then. But this one is really cool because it's a sequel to Jet Grind Radio. Now this is set in Tokyo, and it's pretty much about graffiti. So you have to take down different gangs by covering up different graffiti. But it's very simple. This is definitely a fun game. You have rollerblading, definitely brings so much fun to rollerblading and really keeps it. And then you just go around and you get to unlock characters, different graffiti, and you get to collect the different spray paint cans. Just a very simple premise, but I really enjoyed this game because the soundtrack was so amazing, definitely diversive in the different areas that they had, and it was pretty challenging at times, especially because the camera view made it a little bit challenging. But overall, I'd say that this one is a super fun one, and they went ahead and started bundling it with other games, so this is one that you guys have to check out. Now this series is so much fun. I love these games back then. We actually have MechAssault 1 and MechAssault 2, and the second one is Lone Wolf. These were your awesome mech games. So if you enjoy mechs, then you'll love these games. Now the first one, you pretty much get to crush things with robots, It has this whole multiplayer option as well, and guns and missiles. You could go ahead and choose some of the smaller yet faster ones or larger and slower ones, but you have to be careful not to get blown up, and there are such a variety of weapons. And then the second one was a sequel to the first. It was so much better than the first. You have like this third-person shooter, you have battle armor, but playing online was so much fun because you have these like giant robotic explosions and like over 20 missions. But this one was such a fun one that I would love to see all of this mech stuff just keep coming back. I know that they have other games, but this series right here was definitely so much fun to a lot of people. Now on to this game, we have Panzer, Dragoon, Orta. So these games I played so much on the Sega Saturn, but having this one right here is a lot of fun as well. So they pretty much continued the Panzer Dragoon series, and this game is like absolutely stunning. It is definitely a work of art, and the music is a lot better on the Sega Saturn versions, but this one's still pretty good too. So this is pretty much one of the best rail shooter games that I've ever played, and I just have so many memories playing these on the Sega Saturn. Just watching how beautiful this is, the different dragons to choose from, and the enemy just surround you from all directions. It's just so much fun, and there's so much to unlock. But this can definitely be a beautiful game that I find myself always looking in the background as I'm trying to dive into that action. But there's just so much going on, and it's just a really great franchise, a great series, and I'd love to see these games come back. Now this game right here is kind of like Twisted Metal in a way. So this is Bloodwake. You have this boat, it's on the water, so you have high speed, gunboat warfare. So it's pretty much just crazy, just all over the place. And it's just a lot of fun. So there's so many different weapons and just crazy with this arena combat game. I just have a blast anytime that I play it. So you can unlock new boats, new weapons. You have to learn to maneuver the boat though, but it is a lot of fun. And once you kind of master it, you have to realize that you can't make these like quick turns. You have to, you know, take your time in the turns. But there is actually a petition to try and get a second game of this. I thought that was very interesting because people really are signing petitions to try and get this. But you have boats and shooting, and it's just a wild time. Now this one was so much fun, and I'm shocked that they did not do a second one, especially when PlayStation, you know, had Twisted Metal. They could have like continued on with this franchise, and I feel like a lot of people would have really enjoyed it. Just having so much fun, having different types of boats, speeders, you have cruisers, devil boats, hydroplanes, just so much going on and a lot of fun, crazy action. Then on to this beautiful game. This is Jade Empire. This one is so many people's favorite game, but this one is one of the best action RPGs, especially on the original Xbox. So you get to control a male or female, and you're like this kung fu master. You can upgrade your skills, so you have to choose wisely because you have to, you know, really develop through the mind, body, and spirit. Now this is such a beautiful game, and I love all of the different culture and everything else in here. So you get to learn to advance through precise combat, and you have to be very specific when you're reacting with different characters. So I do like that they have that option as you're going around and interacting with different people. You can kind of make it a little bit more specific. But this is such a beautiful game, just so much fun. And I can't believe that they didn't add any more of these. But this one even has like a cool cover art. So I would love to see this one come back in today's time. Then on to Blinx. Now a lot of people don't realize, but Blinx was set out to be the mascot of the original Xbox. But then when Halo came along, you had Master Chief take over. But Blinx was officially the first mascot for Xbox. So that is definitely crazy, as you have another platformer game. You get to pick up trash, go around and shoot them at your enemies. You have this really cool like time manipulation. So you can like slow down, pause time, you know, as you're going through, and it really helps to solve puzzles. But this can be a little bit challenging getting through some parts of this game. The music is fantastic, the boss fights are really good, and it has beautiful graphics. So you have Blinx the Time Sweeper, and this would have been a fun one to just see where they could have went with it. I know that there were so many platformers at the time, but this one was just a cute game, and it was just a lot of fun. Now on to this game. This is Hunter the Reckoning. This is such a crazy game, and I absolutely love it. It says survive the unthinkable. So pretty much you have this awesome like arcade type style, but it's a hack and slash. And it's just so much fun as you're going around. It's very entertaining. You have these zombies and different vampires. Now, this can be a little bit challenging as you're going through, and there are some options as well to play with some of your friends, but you pretty much have to save the world. You get a sword, crossbow, tons of weapons like flamethrowers, just anything and everything. And I just loved playing this one back in the day because it was so much fun. But this right here is just a great time. That classic, you know, hack and slash, those arcade style feels, just the different environments, different areas. You know, you have 20 unique monster types, just a lot of fun. And this is one that so many people should play, and I'd love to see games like this come back in today's time. Now on to Steel Battalion. This is a wild game, only because you have that massive, insane controller. That thing is several different panels. There's different like foot pedal actions. You are in this like immersive gameplay. It really makes it feel like you are part of this mech. So this whole full controller rig is just insane on the original Xbox. And even though they had something like Steel Battalion on like the Kinect, it didn't feel the same. Just having that massive controller, you know, it's really fun to figure out. There's nothing like it. I still see all of these different controllers set up at different video game conventions. They are pretty hard to find. They do hold their value, and it feels like you're like this giant mech and you're in the cockpit of that. So you are this giant robot and you have to destroy just everything. It's just so much fun, and just really diving deep into this custom 40 button controller with 2 control levers and 3 foot pedals. There's just so much going on, and you definitely need that controller. So I was really happy to score one of these, add it into the collection, but this is just so amazing, and there's nothing quite like it still to this day. So I would have to say that this is one I would love to see back. Just add those controllers, have that craziness going on, and just really have like these full rigs set up instead of, you know, only on the original Xbox. So all of these games here are just so much fun. I had so many memories playing tons of these games and just having them on the original Xbox and not really adding any more to these series since then. I would love to see all of these games come back in today's time with today's technology, adding crazy controllers, this immersive gameplay, beautiful graphics, and just really expanding on some of these stories. So I want to know in the comments down below which games you would actually pick and which ones you would love to see on the original Xbox come back in today's time. So of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out all of my other videos and stay tuned for more.